Hello everyone, it is Refresh, and I'm going to just be doing the draft portion of this tonight. It's primarily because I've got a lot more to do tonight. I don't have time to draft and play games, but hopefully we'll draft a good deck. I know we're getting towards the end of this format and people are excited about Kyle time, but I'm still in this. I want to get another winning record at some point, somewhere down the line. I would like to get there. So I'm going to keep trying. But yeah, it's definitely not an exaggeration to say that this has been my most losingest format, perhaps since I ever started drafting. That's many years, like over 9 years of drafting or so. When did I start? I want to say that I started with Return to Ravnica. Maybe that was 2012. So generally, I've done pretty well at drafting, but in this case, this is my losingest record of all. And maybe that's just because this format is... I like this format, by the way. I love the kind of decks that you can build and the flexibility that the modal land slash spells that exist in Magic in Zendikar. I like the flexibility it gives to decks, and it gives you better draws overall because you can have lands that are spells, and so sometimes you need a land and sometimes you need the spell, and I find that to be wonderful. But at the same time, I do have to acknowledge that maybe that complexity is part of the reason why I have such a hard time with this set. I don't know. I could also just... Maybe it's because I'm watching less pros play Magic nowadays because they're not playing Magic anymore as much, and so it's hard for me to study the sets as much anymore. So maybe that's what it is. I don't 100% know. But here we go. We are drafting. All right. So amongst all of this stuff, we have a really good removal in Nahiri's Binding here, but I think Attended Healer is even stronger. I'm passing a Lotus Cobra, which is good, but I don't know what else would be as strong as the Attended Healer. This works great in a Cleric's deck, but it is... And you need other Clerics for it to be good, but as long as you don't even need them, you just need other ways of gaining life. And there are plenty of other ways of gaining life. And I think that makes the Attended Healer probably the strongest card in this pack in terms of upper ceiling. It has the highest ceiling, and its floor isn't bad. It's not great because it is a 2/3 for 4, which is on the expensive side. But I think that's good enough to take. Nahiri's Binding would be my second choice here. And Zoff Consumption would be decent. If it comes back around, I would love to see Zoff Consumption come back around. All right. So if we are taking that white card, we like this. Kazil's Fury is okay. Veteran Explore Adventure is okay. Jerboa is not that great. These are not cards that I am really looking to pick early. And the black cards are not that good. Dauntless Unity would be good if I'm going aggressive. I'm not. Shepherd of Heroes works great with Attended Healer, and I think it's a strong card in itself. It's a way to win the game at the end. It gets you life. And it works on a party deck, and it flies. I think Kazil's Fury is the only thing that is really in contention with the Shepherd, so we're going to take the Shepherd. Looks like the player to my right is really struggling with their pick there. Yeah, that's the slowest player. So I apologize for their slowness of picks, but not that I'm the fastest picker either. But I am also trying to explain to you everything that goes in my thought process as I make the picks. And so I take a little bit longer just... Ooh, 4. Okay. Allied Assault is not that good. But let's see. Is there anything else in white that we want? No. Bane Veil is good in blue. There's nothing in black. And I don't think that this is good enough where we are with the pair of Clerics that we want this. Same with Outrider. I think Unity might be good if I were already knowing that I was going wide, but I don't know that I'm going wide. And the blue cards here are just okay. I think the Stalker is also a decent card, but I don't know that I'm playing this deck either, or a deck that needs a Stalker per se. Whereas Bane Veil, I think, can be useful in multiple decks, and I think that's why I'm going to take it. And it can also just be a means to splash blue as well. If I wanted to go Warriors, I could take this. If I want to go aggressive, I could take this, or maybe that. But we're going to go ahead and take the Bane Veil for now. Let's see here. I don't really like the Stalker. This is a decent warrior. I think it's quite strong, actually. But it does rely on a whole bunch of warriors. Fortunately, white and red are aggressive decks that work together. There is a lot of red being passed. We could also take the Synchronized Spellcraft as like an expensive red spell that we can cast at the top. We could take the Cleric as well to play on these Cleric themes. But I think I'm a little higher on the Vanguard. Red and white is a good aggressive deck. These are not the best cards for that deck, so that makes me a little lower on it. But I think that's fine enough. We don't quite know where we are right now, so I think it's okay to spread ourselves out a little to see what happens. Between all of these, I like the Pathway because it does get me some splash capacity. I think Tazim Raptor is the card that I actually want, though, because it's white, it's aggressive in the sense that it can fly. It lets me pick up a land if I play a tap land like the Bane Veil to pick it back up and reuse it. I also like the Angel Heart Protector, but I'm not as high on it because we don't have a ton of Cleric synergy right now. But this would be really good if I were to play the Clerics deck. Unfortunately, I don't know that I'm in that yet, and so I'm not going to go on that very high right now. All right. So again, this is not a great pack for us. I think Molten Blast is a removal spell, so we're going to take that. I don't think the Silencer is exactly what we want here to go into black, even though it is a kind of a removal spell and it works with our Clerics. I think the Vanguard is probably slightly stronger, even though we don't have the Warriors, and so we'll take the Molten Blast. I don't love that, though. See, now we have the Teeter Peak Ambusher and the Synchronized Spellcraft. I think I like the Ambusher a little better. It fits into the aggression theme better. I do like the Spellcraft, but I don't want to have too many of them. And if I'm going to play aggressive, I need as many low drops as possible. So the Ambusher it is. So it looks like I might be drifting towards an aggressive deck here. And the Pair Tactician definitely makes me want to do that. This is also an okay card, but I think this works well with the Warriors that we've drafted. And then, you know, even though Attended Healer may not make the cut here, Shepherd of Heroes still fits into the deck as a finisher. So I think we're getting there. I think Sizzling Barrage would be okay, but I think I'm just going to go on another Raptor here. And I think we're moving towards an aggressive deck. Now, I had a lot of success with my red-white super aggro deck, and so I'm not opposed to this. I don't like the Tuk Tuk Rebel for it. I don't really like any of these. I guess this is a Warrior. I might take that, or maybe I'll take a Utility Knife. I'm probably not going to play this, but, you know, I'll pick it up. Dauntless Unity is something that we would like to see in an aggressive deck if that's what we're doing, and it does seem like we're leaning towards it. Inordinate Rage would be fine in an aggressive deck, too. And then Scorch Rider is a fine way to top a curve in an aggressive deck. So it looks like we're really pushing towards an aggressive deck here. Unfortunately, this pack does not want us to be very aggressive. Is there anything really good in this pack in here? Not for us. I think the Horn Beetles and the Shadowcat, these work really, really well together. The Paragon would be decent if we were going to play like the Kicker deck. Or maybe, you know, some sort of, what do you call it? A party deck. But that's not really what we're doing here. I think Bugcatcher is the strongest card for us based on everything that we've seen so far. We could like try to get into Clerics with the Blood Priest or the Gloom Hunter, but I don't know that we're getting there right now. And I think I'd rather lean towards what was really being passed to us, which is the aggressive archetype. And so we're going to take the Bugcatcher here. And here, we want more aggression. I guess Paratactics could be okay, but we're not really high on that. I think we're either on the Electromancer or the Teeter Peak Ambusher. I think this is more likely to come back around, so I'm going to take the Electromancer here, because that will let me power up multiple spells in a turn. And I think I like that. Yeah, it's also a different... Like, I do want the Ambusher, but I think there's a chance that it might come back around. So we'll take the Electromancer here. And now we want Royal Eruption. Easy pick. It destroys stuff. Again, this would be great if we were playing the Clerics deck, but we didn't see much black coming around in the first pack, and I don't think I want to go into it in this pack and then be punished in the following pack, especially when Royal Eruption is so good and it's already in the colors that we're in. Journey to Oblivion, removal spell, unconditional. So I think that is the easy pick here. The other choices would be, you know, if we were again in black, there's a lot of good black coming around this way, but it's not coming around the other way, and I have another pack to go. So I'm going to take the removal spell that's in color. Fisher Wizard, I guess, would be okay. Felidar would be okay, but we're on the journey. Alright, that's a splash card. This is a warrior, and I think we just want to stick with the theme here of being very aggressive. Like, this is all good stuff in rogues. We're not rogues, we're not kicker. You know, we're just trying to kill our opponent before they can do anything. So we want to hit as hard as we can as early on. And we're probably going to remove this attended healer because it's just not aggressive enough. And so, yeah, we're looking to be super aggressive, go wide, play all the cards early. If I can get some sort of card draw effect like the Valakut card spell, that would be good too. We could take Sizzling Barrage here as a removal spell. I'm not really high on the Blade Master. We could take another Dauntless Unity as well. That is a way to get in some massive amounts of damage. But I feel like I don't know how many of these that I want. Whereas I feel like I'm going to always want one or two Sizzling Barrages just to be able to punch through my opponents. The other choice is the Blade Master. And it wouldn't be a terrible choice just because of what I get here in terms of warrior benefits. I'm going to take the Blade Master. This might be okay as an aggressive card. Or this might be okay as an aggressive card, and Teeter Peak Ambusher might be okay as well. So we're really on all three of these. I think we don't really want this expensive of a card. So we're on the Trick or we're on the Ambusher, and I think I'm going to take another Ambusher because, I want to hit a lot of low drops that hit really hard at some point in the game. This is good early because it can block, and it can also hit for 3 at some point. I do like the Resolute Strike as a trick, but I took the Inverted Rage, so I don't need it. Between all of these, I think I'm between the McKinney Ox and the Spitfire Lagak. The Ox will create ways for us to get through in the late game if we need it, but it is very expensive. The Lagak will let us hit our opponent, and I think I'm slightly more on that. It costs less to play, and it does unpreventable damage. Like it'll be able to hit my opponent. All right, we're not on any of these. We don't really care. We're not going to play this, so I'm just going to take a card because it looks cool. Or it feels cool. I'm going to take the Giant. Giants are rad. I'll take the Lynx. I'm probably not playing that. It's definitely way lower. Maybe I'll take the Colossus. I'm not playing that either, though. Yeah, I'll take another Electromancer. That plays into my plan of spreading out and hitting hard. The Outrider would be okay. Not great. We're mostly on Warriors here with a tiny bit of Clerics. I'll take the Duelist and not play that. Dauntless Unity came back around. See, it's a good thing that I didn't pick it. Alright, so Bloodchief's Thirst is a good card. We're going to take the Royal Eruption because that is removal. That also hits the face, and, it's a lot of the things that we want in this deck. I would love for the Hellion or the Felidar to come around. I guess I would take this as well. Nothing in the rare slot. Oh, wow, a second Lotus Cobra that I opened in pack 1. But that is not the deck that we're playing. We're going to take the Royal Eruption. It might be possible that I'm way too high on Royal Eruption, but it just seems so good. For 2 mana, you kill a thing or you hit the face. For 7 mana, you kill a bigger thing or you hit the face. I think the flexibility just makes it too good not to take. And again, look, as you can see, the curve is really, really low here. We're definitely aiming to kill our opponent very quickly, if possible. So I'm definitely going to keep an eye out for more cards that do that. This is where I like the Song Mad. Oh no, we're taking another Royal Eruption. The Song Mad Treachery wouldn't be bad. That is a way to remove a blocker and smash. We're going to hope that we get the Raptor, the Bugcatcher, the Treachery, or the Allied Assault back. I think any of those would be good in this deck, but I'm not passing Royal Eruptions. Not when I'm in red and white and being aggressive, and I can throw them to my opponent's face. All right, here is a little harder. We could take the 3-drop and another Raptor to get in through the air. We could take the Cleric as a ground guy. It's really defensive though, so I'm not really high on it. I think I want things that have a lot more impact in the game in terms of being able to win. This hits for 1, right? This hits for 2 and flies. And I think that makes this just better. In a lot of other decks, I think this would be the right pick, but I think this is the correct pick in this case. We're not defensive at all. We're not interested in being defensive. This would be great in Clerics. We're not that deck. In fact, none of these cards are anything that we really want. We'll take the Inordinate Rage because a trick. And now the Banneret is actually I want the champion. I like the Banneret. Okay, it's a decent warrior, but the champion is just a beating in a deck with heavy warriors, and that is exactly what we are. We have 10 of them. Yeah, we're gonna have to choose some things to be booted from this deck at some point. This is, I guess, filtering, and it's a relatively aggressive card, so I'll take that. I think it's better than another Lagak. I think that these are not as good for me because it costs too much mana. And again, we want to be super aggressive. And this also just lets us get rid of a land at some point, because we're gonna end up with lands that we don't want in this deck, especially since we don't have any tap lands. Yeah, 100% on this thing. I do like the Resolute Strike. I think because we have those Inordinate Rages, I'm not as high on it. And we don't have any good equipment. And so we're going to take the second Expedition Champion. And we're just, ooh, this is good reach as well. It lets us pick up a land. Like, we don't really care about the land picking up thing, but the fact that this gives us reach in the late game to dome my opponent for 2 makes it a pretty good pick, I think. So we're much heavier red than we are white, it looks like at this point. Okay, we already have 2 Inordinate Rages. Like, I'll take another Hellion, but I'm probably not playing the second one. We're gonna have to start making some cuts here. I'm not playing the second Hellion, that's just too much. It might be better than, no, the Angel will get through for damage, whereas I don't know about that. Oh, the Treachery came back, I like that. Allied Assault is probably not as good in my deck because I'm low on the other creature types. The other card is maybe another Z Raptor, but I don't think I need one at this point. I think I'm maxed out on actual cards that I play, and this is great because it's a land that I could also play as a card. We don't really need another Dauntless Unity, so I'm going to take a Cinderclass. I'm not going to play that because it's just not good in my deck. It'll just kill all of my own cards, which I don't want. We're going to take another Mesa Lynx and not play that. And, oh, Fisher Wizard might get played. Yeah, I got to figure out how to organize this when I'm done. So, if you have any thoughts, let me know. Now, this is a fairly low curve deck, and so I do see myself cutting a couple lands and just, you know, or maybe cutting a land and like trying to be as low to the ground as possible here. So, is the Blade Master good enough is a question. It's basically a 2/2 for 2 because it has the double strike. The Paratactician makes it good. The Dauntless Unity makes it good. The fact that we have Molten Blast and Royal Erupt and Inordinate Rage makes it good. So it might have a place in this deck. The Outrider gets a little better because of it too. I think the Lagak is questionable here. And it's possible that some of these other cards are a little bit on the questionable side as well. So let's start thinking about how I can be appropriately aggressive. Again, we're pretty low curve. I think we dropped the Lagak. I like that it does give me some reach, but I don't think it's really doing what I need. This is a land that can double as a late game spell. So I need to cut, well, I'm going to cut some lands here. Let's see. We're going to cut a plains, and that means I have 17 lands, so we can cut another land. So I have now 16 lands, right? 9 here and 7 here, that's 16. That's probably what we are looking for with this super low curve deck. And the Hellion will let us pick up the Songmad Treachery again if we need it. Unlikely that this combo is going to work well for us, but that's fine. Let's see. We don't really want to cut Warriors if we can avoid it, because we have some decent synergy in Warriors. We can probably cut a Wizard. Probably cut both Wizards. Like, it does mean that we have less Wizards for our abilities here, but they're not as important. Yeah, they're not as important to what we're trying to do here. Like, the Kabiro Outrider, I think, gets a benefit from that, but it's not that good of a benefit. For the most part, this is a 4-mana 3/3. Sometimes you just want a slightly bigger body. In that case, do I want the Lagak instead? Like, does this really help my plan that much if it's only going to get +1/+1? I have 1 Cleric, no rogues, and 2 wizards. It's usually just going to give +1/+1 to 1 creature. And I don't know if that's good enough. Yeah, let's cut that. I almost want the Lagok instead now. But I think we're just cutting things now. These are ways to end. This is a removal spell that I think is going to cost 4 mana in most cases. So I don't think it's... I think it fits here more than it fits here. We'll put it over here. And then these are 2 5s, 2 4s, and everything else is a 3. So let's see what is the weakest of our 3s here. I have to keep the Molten Blast because it's removal. I don't know if I have to keep it. I guess the fact that it's an instant makes it pretty good. I like the Tzim Raptors because they can get in unblocked. So, I don't know. What is the weakest card? I gotta cut 2 more. I mean, if I got rid of more top end, I could probably drop another land, but I don't think that's the correct move here. Maybe Molten Blast can go. Because I found that killing X2 creatures, it just doesn't happen as much. But that does reduce my number of spells altogether too. Like, I'm relying more on Inordinate Rages to punch through then. And maybe that will be enough. I wish I had more Bug Catchers. I like these. We need to make one more cut. What is the least useful spell of all the remaining spells? Is it the Blade Master, maybe? I think with as much pump as we have, the Blade Master is actually decent. Do I cut a Raptor? Maybe an Electromancer? No, I want to keep my wizards. I want to keep the burst power that this has to cast a couple more spells, because we're really low in the mana curve, and so they will enable us to cast 2 in a turn. Maybe the Shepherd is not what we need. Maybe because I have the Dauntless Unities, I don't need the second Inordinate Rage. This is hard. Or maybe I cut... No, I don't cut a Dauntless Unity. I want to be able to get one of these per game, you know, and this... If I only have one, there's a chance I'm not going to get it. I'm definitely not cutting another land. 16 is where I want to be. And I almost want to have that second white so that I can cast this Dauntless Unity. Maybe I cut another Inordinate Rage. Okay, we'll cut another Inordinate, or 1 Inordinate Rage. So we're on 1 Inordinate Rage, 2 Dauntless Unities. We have a very aggressive, super high creature count curve. We have removal and face damage in Royal Eruption, Journey to Oblivion. This is our only way of dealing with a big creature, aside from possibly 2-4-winning myself with Inordinate Rage. But that's life sometimes. And hopefully that this deck will be able to be super aggressive and get there. So, we ended up with a red-white super aggro deck. This has white, this has green. White and green. I'm not really high on white in my deck, so let's see if I can re-roll this and get a red. There we go. That's exactly what we want to see. So, that is the deck, everybody. I'm going to be back tomorrow to start playing this deck, but if you enjoyed this stream, if you enjoyed the deck build, or if you have any thoughts about it, let me know in the comments. Hit the like button if you enjoyed it. Hit subscribe if you'd like to see more of my streams. This was Refresh. Thanks for watching, and I will see you next time. Good night.